Hi, my name is Jasmine. I'm a sophomore at Cal State Fullerton, like Pastor Jimmy said. If my voice starts to shake, it's probably because I'm either crying or extremely nervous, or both. So from an early age, I knew a lot about the unusual struggles my family went through, and it made me mature really fast. I remember being homeless a couple times. My siblings say it happened often, but I don't remember because I was too young. The most recent and vivid memory I have of being homeless was 9 years ago. We were all in a motel, and even those motel management people wanted us out because we couldn't afford the $70 a night. I would go to school, come home at 3:30 in the afternoon, and see alcohol on the table, do my homework on the little nightstands next to our bed, and that was about it for the day. After a couple months, my dad took me to Arizona, where we stayed for a year. It was then that I started becoming really depressed. I was really lonely. I never went out. I was always so sad about my family, and I missed my siblings, and I missed my mom. I turned to self-harm during this time, and if I'm being honest, that didn't completely stop until sophomore year of high school. I used whatever I could, rubber bands, thumbtacks, nail clippers. I had no one to talk to, so I didn't know that I needed help. We were there for a year, and then we came back to California. Fast forward, I was living with my parents and their friend. It was an incredibly unhealthy situation. I normalized a lot of things that weren't normal, and I kind of just became this numb robot that accepted things the way they were. After 8 years in that situation, I felt like there was no hope. I didn't realize how wrong things were until my last year of high school, when I saw something that ripped off my goggles that made things all cloudy, and it literally tore my world down. I wanted so badly to protect my family, but right there is when God told me. He grabbed me and he shook it into me that something is wrong here. I told my siblings, who had lived apart from my parents and me. It was an extremely emotional and ugly process, but basically they took me in and I started to live with them. A month later, we found out that my dad has cancer. I felt so guilty and so torn. Should I move back? Should I compromise to be with my dad? This was an ongoing internal and external battle. Wow, I can't read. Because my siblings truly wanted to protect me and make me see how unhealthy and compromising I've become. But I kept fighting them. In fact, I kept placing myself in unhealthy situations. During all of this, my dad's cancer, the transition of leaving my parents and moving in with my siblings, I was in a really toxic relationship where I allowed myself to be treated badly. I hid it, but I felt worthless and guilty and lonely every single day. And although I was going to church and praying, I couldn't feel anything. I questioned my existence, whether I should even be here. And it took me some time to get over it. It wasn't until we broke up that something in me clicked. My entire life, I felt like I was alone. Like there was no one in the world that could understand me and my hurt. Yes, I had siblings that went through the same things, but it was different because they were older and they had moved out. Despite this, I started going out to every church event. I have no idea why I was so encouraged to do these things. I feel like it was the Holy Spirit, but I entered our church's college group. I made more of an effort to cultivate sisterships, and these are all new things to me. I never really had a consistent Christian friend before, but suddenly I was surrounded by people who loved God and emphasized love on each other. It wasn't an easy process, but I consider myself to be entirely new now. The person I was before truly believed that she was worthless and lonely and unlovable. She hid all of her secrets from her family, her friends, and even herself. The person I am now is someone who takes her faith seriously, and that is the biggest difference. She takes all of those struggles and she brings it to God, who heals her. It wasn't until God gave me a community that I realized how serious my walk with him is and should be. I felt like I was blind this entire time, and he's helped me to see. He's shown me how blessed I am with his love and with his son. So I got confirmed here at CCSC, making a public promise to God that I'm no longer living life for myself. Everywhere I look, he's there, and he's always been there. Even when I felt alone, struggling to find worth, he was right there hurting with me. He's in my siblings, he's in my friends, he's in my parents, and he's in me. I've always considered it miraculous that I was blessed with siblings who unconditionally love and save me even when I take them for granted. I realize now that it's because God was moving in them, even when I challenge them about Him. They are my miracle and my gift. I also consider it a miracle and a gift that God gave me friends who I can talk about my spiritual life with, about the highs and lows, how to love Jesus more. I see Him in them too. I'm not saying now it's all flowers and sunshine. I still have a really hard time. I'm still really bitter and broken. I still miss my parents. I still get confused about our situation, and I still struggle a lot with my sins. But the biggest difference is I trust and I love Him. It took me to hit my lowest of lows for Him to pull me up and into His embrace, and there's no place I'd rather be. He knew exactly what I needed to be drawn into Him, more deeply, more seriously. I realize my pattern of unhealthy lifestyles is something I can address and slowly fix with Him. And although I have a ways to go, I thank God for growing me and spiritually maturing me, because that is a seed that affects every other aspect of my life. It makes me learn and look at things differently. I'm still incredibly selfish and a horrible sinner, but the fact is that I'm grateful for all of those adversities, the pain and the struggles, because without them, I wouldn't be able to feel the impact of God's love as I do now. It still really is hard sometimes, but I have God-fearing friends and community. I have an amazing family who protect and humble me. I have a powerful, all-knowing, righteous God on my side, and that's more than enough to get me through this short life. Thank you.